Welcome to Lifting the Lid on Technology, a podcast series brought to you by SoftSource in association with New Zealand's leading IT vendors and experts. I'm Barry White, BCIO Principal Consultant at SoftSource. In this series, we explore opportunities and challenges in the world of IT. And today I'm joined by Troy Webber, Performance Analyst from the 2021 Super Rugby Premiers, the Auckland Blues. In this episode, we'll talk about business transformation using modern workplace tools with insights from Troy Webber about how the Blues use technology to improve their processes, data analysis, and to reach a winning performance. Welcome, Troy.
Thank you very much, Barry.
Thanks for joining the podcast. Got to say, I've been looking forward to this all week, actually. I'm really fascinated by the work you're doing, particularly around data and player analysis, and hoping this afternoon we can have a good chat about that. But I guess to kind of kick things off, do you just want to give a little background to what it is you do, maybe give us a bit of an insight to a day in the life of at the Blues, and I guess in particular what your role involves?
I'm the team analyst, so basically my role is to watch a lot of rugby. We get a lot of video from games, multiple angles, video from training, and my role is to package all that together, and then we do a lot of data on that footage. So we look at everything a player does, everything a team does, and we've got certain benchmarks that we measure ourselves against. So to give you an example, one game we would have probably around 2,000 coded events.
Wow.
So there's a lot of data in that. And then my job is to pick through it and provide information to the coaches and the players, and making sure that we're doing what we say we're doing.
I think some of the people listening to this be interested to know the types of sources. I mean, we sit there on television and we see this single frame of the game, but of course there's a lot more information in the background that's been recorded there. Can you give us a bit of an insight into perhaps the amount of that and with Sky Sports, for argument's sake, how many feeds they actually work with, those sort of things? So
each game we end up with 6 different views from the game. So we get the broadcast view that everyone sees on the TV, but we also get a wide view we can see the wide angle all the time, an end-on view, so the coaches it helps show where space opens up, close views, our forwards coaches use that quite a bit, and we also do an opposite side, and we have another end-on view that's a lot wider. So when you put them all together, there's no hiding. We see everything. And it's, I guess for us, it's what you do with information. So all teams have the same amount of feeds. We actually have quite a good relationship with the other analysts, and we share footage wherever we go. And then it's really up to us how we analyse the opposition and make it work for us.
That must be pretty hard for the players. They'll be pretty conscious everything they're doing is potentially on film, and I guess you have to be careful not to pick your nose.
The players are brilliant. They understand it's a professional world. The amount they've grown from when I first started with where analysis has gone is immense. And the players, they spend countless hours reviewing footage along with the coaches, and they're obviously reviewing their performances, but also preparing for the opposition, and they spend a lot of hours a week sitting in front of a computer and looking at numbers.
I think is it true to say? I guess from a public's point of view, and I put myself in that seat. We just don't appreciate the amount of work that goes on in the background. Would that be true?
Yeah, there's a lot of work. It's not the old school, rocking up to training Tuesdays and Thursdays and playing on Saturday. These guys spend a lot of time. Coaches, they often wouldn't know how to explain the amount of footage that they go through, but they're spending endless times on their computers in the office, at home, getting the guys ready for the following game.
So can we talk a bit about the data, because obviously this is a technology podcast, and that's kind of the video aspect of it. What about the data itself? And can you tell us more about the tools and the platform you use for that?
We use a software platform to code our games, and We use a company called Sports Code, and we go through and we'll code a lot of data. We also get data from third parties as well, which we link in. So Sports Analytics provides us with some match data as well, which we utilise. And we basically package all that information into the footage. Then it's really, once we do that, it's trying to make use of that data. So it's extracting that information out and utilising tools like Power BI, which we import the data into Power BI, and then that spits out all the information for the coaches in a nice, pretty format.
That's a good segue, and probably what's going to be my next question was why do you need a tool like Power BI? Because you and I met each other, it would have been before COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that, where you attended one of our workshops, and we did some workshops at the Blues as well. And that started you on your journey down the path with Power BI. But perhaps before today, I didn't fully appreciate the fact that you weren't just dealing with one platform.
We used to use just Excel before I came across Power BI. And we did have some other software platforms that we utilised, but it wasn't until I saw the power that we can get from Power BI. I guess if you look at Excel, it just takes it to the next level. Mm-hmm. You're right, I've got different data sources coming from different providers. So I was trying to find a way where I could link those different data sets together. I remember chatting with you guys about, you and Chris about it, and saying, I've got this information, and we're moving away from our old provider. Mm. And then you guys mentioned Power BI to me and Microsoft Teams, and that was pretty much the start of kicking me off into this area.
Do you want to give us a bit of you've a little bit about your background from a technical point of view, because I know when we meet our customers and we talk to people about these new low-code, no-code tools, it's often, some people are, for example, they've had a lot of experience with Excel, and so moving to something like Power BI, as you've described, as the next logical transition. But your dashboards are on another level again, and this is obviously an audio podcast, not a video podcast, so we can't show them to the audience. But one of the things that motivated this podcast was looking at the quality of the dashboards that you produce are absolutely fantastic. And obviously Chris and I here at SoftSource, we get the benefit of seeing a few of these, and you've put a lot of time into these dashboards, and they're pretty sophisticated tools. So do you want to, just to help people get an appreciation of what these things take?
Well, before my life in rugby, I had a software company with my brother, so I have an IT background. It was something I put on the back burner, but it's, I still have the understanding of some of the code and being able to view stuff. It made sense to me. So look, a lot of the dashboards I've designed, there's also some dashboards that we utilise which have also been designed by some third parties as well. Mm-hmm. Like the one in front of myself, which I'm talking about now, it's a player report dashboard that we utilise. So when a player plays a game, all this data comes in, and basically when coaches want to sit with a player and go through their footage, and so go through their numbers, they've got a dashboard here which they can bring up the player, and all that information is given to the coaches so they can review the player's performance using this information.
Is it fair to say that you've done some collaboration out there with other people in the rugby world or in the sports world?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we have a pretty close relationship with other analysts in the area, and particularly with Jamie Hamilton, who's the All Black analyst. He's been extremely helpful in this area as well. And Jason Healy. Mm-hmm. So they're all in New Zealand rugby. So I guess it's a beauty that we have in this environment. We have a close relationship with other people. So when I have a question, I can contact them. Or like I did the other day, I was stuck trying to link two data sets together, and I caught up with yourself and Chris, and just that meeting there, it was a little trick that you guys showed me how to do, and it was that really helped. So just having the ability to have people that you can go to, and when you get stuck on a small problem, they most likely have come across something like that, and they can put you steer in the right direction. So from my point of view, it's a great asset for us to have. You guys, SoftSource, is the ability to just pick up the phone or quick flick an email through, and you guys are always willing to help us out. So I really appreciate that.
And thanks for sharing that too, because when we talk to customers, one of the things we share with them is we say, well, look, if you're new to Power BI, it is a massive community, and there is a lot of people out there using the tool set, and not just here locally, but it's got a massive YouTube channel, and it's such a broad range of skills. And so for people who are perhaps listening to this and are new to Power BI or are keen to sort of explore it further, there are just so many different avenues that you can tap into, right?
There's heaps. Just utilising Google and doing a Google search on something, there's heaps of videos that pop up, and there's a big Power BI and Teams environment out there, community out there, which people. It's amazing how willing people are to help. Mm-hmm. It's just knowing where to ask and who to ask, and it's a beauty of this type of platform. Yeah,
I think people listening to this might be interested to know how the data gets from the players into the system. Do you just want to give some little bit of insight to that? Because this data's collected, but how does it get from the player who's on the field and into the platform?
Yes, so a lot of the data gets done manually.
Yeah, right.
So it's, there's no magic bullet out there that will just spit out the data that you want. I mean, we do get things through with GPS data and information that's automatically generated, but coded data, it's people sitting in front of a computer coding instances, and then we export that out into a CSV file, which then we put these CSV files together, and that is imported into Power BI. So for me, I'm still new to Power BI, so it's I know I have to start creating better data warehouses and better places to store data to make it easier to access, and that's probably one of my next steps in my off season. So trying to find a data warehouse to store it all.
Yeah, because you're starting to build up a repository of.
So at the moment, it's all stored on OneDrive, in Microsoft OneDrive, where data is linked up. But I know I'll get to a point where I'll start to get data sets which are getting quite large and probably need to be housed in a better system.
What are the types of data that you're collecting? Like I took a few notes, and I'll just couple them. Like individual collisions was one of the ones that stuck out, and return to feet statistics I thought was an interesting one. Can you just give us a bit of background to just what data you're actually collecting? Because again, I think it's fascinating.
So we've got different areas, and I've got a good analysis team which works with me. And so we look at all areas. And so I guess the key areas, we look at our defence and how we're doing in that area. You mentioned collisions, so we measure our collisions. So that's basically making sure that we get the person behind the gain line and we're dominant in our tackles, and then we're making sure that we get back in the game. So that's a big part for us. You can't defend when you're on the ground. So once you make a tackle, you have to get back up and get on the ground, and that's all measured. So there's, as I mentioned before, there's lots of different angles. So we have a look at people going into the contact, making a tackle, what type of tackle it is, and then how quickly they are to get back up on their feet and back in the defence system. And also with attack and all that, we look at it's pretty much the flip side. Yeah. So we're making sure that we get the gain line, we get quick ball, and put the other teams under pressure, and then hopefully score a few tries from it.
I should say we're recording this podcast a few days after the end of the season, and congratulations
thank you very much
on a fantastic end to the season. I think you made a city proud, and without giving away any trade secrets on this front, what difference did some of this data make? Can you give us a feeling for the impact of that, as I said, without giving away any trade secrets?
Well, yes, thank you. And it was great having that victory on the weekend. And as you mentioned before, it was great for the Blues community. It was a long time coming for us, and we're just thrilled with how our team performed and how hard they work. So as mentioned, they work extremely hard. But we also look at a few key KPIs when we play a game. So we've got a style that we want to play, and we know when we play that style, we're really good, and that would be hard to stop us. And it's just trying to get that style going for 80 minutes. and we're getting there. And the exciting thing for us is we know there's still a lot of growth in this team, and so rugby's about pressure, and if we're executing our play in certain parts of the field, executing our game plan, and that's all, and after every game we have all these measures that we look at and making sure that if we tick those off, and we know we'll get the result.
It's obviously not the main factor, but it's a significant factor in being able to collect that data and then review it and then rinse and repeat for the next game and say, well, look, we didn't tick these boxes.
Yeah, that's right. We know when we tick those boxes, 9 out of 10 times we'll win the game. And the players understand that, and the growth and the understanding of that is immense over the last year. So we've been working hard the last few years, looking at changing the way we play the game, and the guys' understanding of the game that we want to play. And that's the only way you can do that is having a tool of measuring it. So that's where our work comes in. Every week we will see how we're going in those key areas, and if we keep on track, then good things come, and that's what we saw last weekend.
I'm starting to think, Troy, I'm not a member of the TAB, but I'm starting to think after talking to you, I should perhaps take that up and have a regular weekly phone call to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give too much away, but it's we're confident in ourselves and the team. They know to do what we do. We know it's hard work because there's all the other teams out there are working just as hard, but we just have to make sure what we're doing fits how we want to play the game.
So if we could switch gears a little bit, obviously this is we've talked a lot about data and a lot about Power BI, but of course you've also been enthusiastic users and embracers of the broader sort of Microsoft suite as well. You're using Microsoft Teams now and Office 365, of course. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that journey? And
so I guess the biggest step was for us. We had a software platform that we utilised, which was a sports software platform, but we found it wasn't quite the right fit for us, and it wasn't the right fit for over the whole organisation. So we were looking for something that could link us all together in one package. And with COVID hitting, it pretty much accelerated our pathway. And I was out there trying to look for different options out there that we could utilise. And I remember making the phone call with you and Chris and Pablo, and you guys mentioned, have we thought about using Microsoft Teams? And I had heard about Teams, but I wasn't fully aware of it. But chatting with you guys more, I realised that we actually had the backbone of Teams already there. We just weren't utilising it. So we obviously had the Microsoft suite, Office 365, and part of that Office 365 is Microsoft Teams. And just looking at Teams and what it could do, and understanding that you can create different teams, different channels, and being able to link the people that you need in those channels was quite beneficial for us. We use Teams for all our training, so everyone has access to viewing the training platform, that all our trainings, team selection, all our S&C use it, medical staff use it. So it's really become a place where we can share and collaborate all our information together. And it's also, we put all our players onto Microsoft Teams as well, so a way for us to communicate to our players.
Not only using mobiles, right?
They're using mobiles, and the players live on their phones. Yeah. So the best way to get to the players is through the phone, and through chats, because emails and that they won't open up the emails and read emails. So it's so the chats on Microsoft Teams we found very beneficial. The big thing that I also want to point out is the security of Microsoft Teams. Yeah, so it's for our business. One important factor was security, and there's other platforms out there that provide you with the same type of stuff, but for us it was the security and the ability, because with rugby we get players in, we get players out, and this ability to, if a player comes in as a replacement player for 2 weeks while we've got a player injured, that replacement player can then be picked up by another team. So it's quite important that their history that they had doesn't go from our team to the opposition team. So with Microsoft having the ability to turn that person off and completely stop them from accessing any team that they're involved in was high, because I know in the past our manager would have to go through trying to remember what team they were in and switch them all off, but it was high chance that they'll forget something or it will slip through. So the security of teams is very, very helpful, because we share a lot of information on teams, like our game plans and our structures that we use and things like that. So knowing that we can actually switch that off and stop that from going anywhere else, because players, they go to different teams. They, if they're off contract, they can be picked up, and we just don't want that information picked up and taken with them, because it's our property, really.
Just to finish up, I mean, what are some of the things you're thinking about now? You've just had a fantastic end to the season.
I guess for me at the moment, I know we're only just scraping the surface of what we can do with Microsoft Teams, and we've only been really utilising it for the last 12 months, if that. Yes, it hasn't been long. So it's just trying to make sure that everyone gets on board and is utilising it to its full potential. And I know we've still got a way to go there, but it's just trying to making sure everyone follows the same protocols and procedures there. And there's heaps of things that we can utilise. I'm going to be spending a lot of time playing around more with Power BI and getting my head around that, and making sure that I can, like I know I build reports, but then I look at it a few months later and go, I can do that in a better way, or this is a simpler process. So streamlining things is in my off season, I'll be looking at that.
Now, certainly for Chris and I here at SoftSource, I think, and the whole team, one of the things that we feel very passionate about and we try to do with customers is try to help them to get that raw extra value out of the platform, because as you say, most people are only using a tiny little piece of it or a little corner of it, and they just don't realise a lot of the time just how many different things they can do with the tool set. But it does come down to people like you having the passion. On behalf of the team here at SoftSource, it's very satisfying to see the outcome at the other end of it and see somebody like yourself prosper from that, and it's we get a lot of enjoyment out of that. And well done, and keep up the great work. If I could say that on behalf of the whole of Auckland.
I appreciate it. Look, from where I am, it's SoftSource. Has opened my eyes to a lot of this. I think I've been to 3 of your workshops now. I came to one of the workshops where we had other customers in here, and it was also good to see how they looked at things as well, and you might pick up something there, and I thought it was just a good time to, as we talked about, a lot of the stuff's a bit of a community thing, and being able to share ideas and have a look at what people do is quite exciting.
Well, Troy, that's probably a good place to stop. I really appreciate your time and coming to see us today, and congratulations again, and we'll hopefully see you again real soon.
Thanks very much, Barry. I appreciate it. Cheers.
What a great session hearing from the 2021 Premier team. Thanks for joining us as we explored some of the ways technology has transformed the Auckland Blues, enabling greater value from their data and ultimately improving business performance. We hope you enjoyed Troy's insights, and we look forward to bringing you more tips and insider knowledge in our next episode.